Oh, welcome everyone to LSE Transfer Room. I'm sorry you caught me sleeping. That was a bar fest, if I'm honest, but a win's a win in Harmony. 2-0 against Union St. Gilloy. We move on, don't we? Move on to Brighton next after this, and then the international break. But 6 points out of 6 in terms of the Europa League group. Give me your initial reaction to that game, apart from the bar fest.
I'll say the first 30 minutes was good. We were popping it about, we were moving the ball around, players were involved. We created a lot of chances. I think it was just but we just couldn't find the end product. It was either the final pass that wasn't great, or a player's touch that wasn't great before he can play to someone else, or just taking a bit too long to kind of penetrate the spaces that they were leaving for us. So it was a good game to watch. Kind of a little bit frustrated because it kind of there was parts of it where I generally stopped watching the game for about 20 minutes, and I went to do something else, and I came back to watch the rest of the game because it was just that type of game. I think the players knew that we were in control. They knew that we were going to win the game really and truly. So they kind of think that they just kind of took off the foot off the gas and just kind of relax and just cruise through the whole game. So yeah,
it feels like this game has been like every other game this season so far, apart from like a couple of obviously the Villa game and the Tottenham game as a whole.
Yep.
Where we're coming into it and we seem lackluster. We've seen, I'm not saying not asked, but we don't seem up for the fight, and we seem to be just strolling past. Eventually, getting the goal that we need to win, we're getting the results, but the performance again is just not good enough. And eventually, we're going to get, I won't say found out, but it's going to hurt us at some point. These performances. I think St. Galway had a few chances. They had a few chances to score. They got about 10, 11 corners in the end, which is an incredible stat in terms to play at home against a team like this. And that's no offense to that. We're levels above this team. We shouldn't be doing that, should we, against a team at this level?
No, not at all. I think, like I said, that the players kind of just took the foot off the gas and the eyes off the ball, because I think that they knew that, see all the possession that they had in the first half and the second half, especially when we literally had them pinned down and they couldn't literally get out of their half for about 30 to 45 minutes. They were literally just pinned in their own half. And every single time they'll lose the ball, it will be a Liverpool player that will gain it back, and they will just recycle the ball and just go all over again. And I think that's kind of just brought a level of arrogance and players kind of losing their heads and lose concentration in certain parts of the game. And that allowed them to kind of feel like they can kind of get something within the game. They nearly did. If it wasn't for Alisson saved them, it would have been the 2-1 game. And if Jota didn't score that last minute goal, it would have been a 1-1 game. So looking at it in that perspective, it wasn't a great performance for the team. But I think in the latter stages we'll be playing better teams, and I think that the players will be much more up for it. I think because the group stages is such an easy group, I think the players are kind of just just taking the time to kind of embed themselves more and more in the tournament, and then as time goes on, I think we'll be seeing much better performances. What do you think about the game personally for you?
The problem I have with this is apart from the front three, most of it's rotated, and as Trent in there, Kanate in there, but most of it's rotated. And I just don't think these players that in the background are trying to take their chance when they get in it. And when you get that chance, like likes of Harvey Elliott and Endo, for example, you've got to take it. And Tsimikas, you're not going to get these chances. You're going to be far and few between. So when they get these chances, they need to take them, and they're not proving any sort of pressure to the first team. And to keep that momentum as well, I think to keep that momentum and say, look, if we're going to play this competition, we need to keep our performances up, no matter who you're against. I don't care if it's the latter stages or the group stage. Our performances need to improve quickly. Good evening, Jay Moose. Good to see you, Hammer. Good to see you back on the comments. Please, if you are new to this channel, please like and subscribe. Get in the comments as well. Get your thoughts in there on the match. Give me your man of matches. Give me your ratings if you've got any ratings as well. Did we get away with it tonight? Again, a better team would have scored against us. A better team would have got a result out of us, like it has been this season. For me, this match went how in a way, I thought it would win. I thought we'd battered them a little bit better than what we did, but I just think it petered out, didn't it? Once we're at 1-0, we sort of late in the first half, we scored that goal, and it was basically the same half again. But Galai had chances, and that's what I worry about, because these chances that we're giving up isn't going to be. It's going to be finished when we're against better teams, like of Tottenham, like of Brighton, like of Man City coming up after the international break. We can't do that. And when it comes to the Europa League further down the line, we might be up for it more, but we can't be giving chances away. No matter how much we're up for it, we can't keep giving these chances away. And it's going to kill us. It's going to kill us later on when we're going for trophies. We should be going for trophies this season. We're expecting to go for trophies this season. So there's worries. There is worries for me there. I'm being brutally honest. There's always worries for me there, but it's nice to see Gravenberch finding his feet. It's nice to see Quansah balling out, by the way, because he's been brilliant with Konate. I think him and Konate have been a very, very solid centre-back pairing, if I'm honest. They did it against, in the last stage against Last Linz, wasn't it? I think they played together. And they've been good both times. James agrees as well. He's saying they were solid. Gravenberch finding his footing. Nunes, that's the finisher chance. Darwin Nunes. We love this guy, right? We love this guy, and he's got potential to get 20, 30 goals a season.
Yeah.
He needs to fucking start finishing these chances, doesn't he?
Oh, mate, honestly, when I watched that replay, it just hurt me. I couldn't watch it. I found myself, even when it went past and we had more possession, I kept asking myself, how did he miss that?
How did he miss that?
That how? No, he didn't even hit the post or anything. It literally went wide. That is what confused me, and it just baffled me. I'm just like, wow, I think, I don't have no excuses for that.
And we miss like that, mate. Though if he keeps doing these sort of misses, right, it's going to cost us games as well. That's what's going to piss me off in the end. 100%. Firmino did it. Firmino missed a lot of chances like these. Firmino never an elite striker in terms of goal scoring. Also, he was an elite striker elsewhere, but in terms of goal scoring, we can't miss these chances when it comes to fine margin games and fine margins in the title or the Europa League winning it. You got to put these chances away, and it's not good enough, I'm afraid, for Nunes. I want Nunes to start every week. I think he's unbelievable, and he's got potential to be world class. But he just needs to sort his fucking self out with these finishes. He practice on them. I don't know. He should be a striker. He should be able to finish anyway. I think me and you would have finished that. I think we'd have finished with a lot of chances.
Honestly, I think for him, the only encouraging thing that I'm starting to see is that he's starting to get more involved in the game. He's just not waiting for the ball to come to his feet. He's starting to come. Sometimes he's coming short, linking up plays between him and Salah, him and Trent, or him and with whoever's in the midfield, and he's dropping deep. Suckling defenders. Take a quick touch, play it, and then run in behind. So that is something I'm starting to see that he's starting to incorporate into his game. And he's starting to look more comfortable receiving the ball. Before, he received the ball and you can kind of see he's trying to panic. He's trying to think, well, who am I passing to? What am I going to do next? Now, you can kind of see the little bit of composure starting to come into his play when he receives the ball and when he receives the ball coming in short. And that's something that I'm glad I'm starting to see that he's developing. But ultimately, you want him to see him in the box and scoring goals. Another thing that's good for us personally is that his head is not dropping. That chance went by and he missed it, and he had another chance where he chested it down and he had a wonderful strike and the keeper saved it. And that is something that you want to see, that even though if he misses the chances, which he should not be missing at all, he still has that confidence to continue going and going and going and going. And that's only going to bode well for him and for the team as well, because, if the worrying thing will be, the signs will be, he misses a chance and his head drops. That'll be the worrying sign, but that's not happening. So that's the
never been like that though, has it? It's never really been like that. He's always,
no.
Positionally, he's one of the best strikers in the world. Positionally,
100%.
He always gets those chances because he's on it. He reminds me of Edison Cavani, the way he gets in positions. Yeah, and that's a good sign of a good striker. Like, he don't let his head drop, but he still needs to start putting these chances away. And it's going to come from him. I don't think what's helped him is the international break came, missed a bit, and then Klopp hadn't really put him back in the starting lineup as such.
Yeah.
Against Tottenham, I think he made a mistake by bringing Jota on over Nunes, forgetting the red card as well. I think Nunes would have suited that game more.
More,
it made more sense with him, with the confidence that he was going into the game with. Could it have been a knock of confidence with Klopp not really pushing him to be starting since?
Maybe that was one. I think that's something I was thinking about when Jota came into that Tottenham game. I was like, I was very confused a little bit. I was like, why ain't Nunes coming on? I feel like this would be the perfect time for Nunes to come on, and he would have just ran that Spurs defense the whole second half. I think that is starting to maybe it could have got to his head. And I heard there was a report that he had a little bit of a knock. So that's probably why Klopp didn't want to risk him in that game, just in case, he got injured or something. But I think in that Spurs game, if he came on instead of Jota, I think he would have caused a lot more havoc. And I think we could have had a bit
It made more sense. It made more sense to have someone that can hold the 100%. Ball up and have pace as well.
Exactly. So, yeah. But the only worrying thing for me was that now that we lost Jota and we lost Gakpo, you can see as soon as Mo and Diaz came off, not Diaz, Nunes came off, we kind of looked flat. There was no potency in the attack. There was no urgency. There was there was no threatening behind. I think that the other team would look much more comfortable, even though we had the ball, because they knew there was no threatening behind. There was no player that would make that running behind. Even when Diaz came on, he wasn't really doing too much, because he was stuck on the left. So that's the only worrying sign for me going into the Brighton game, is that let's say we do decide to take off these front guys, who are we going to bring on, with these two guys missing. Yeah, so that's my only concern watching that game, was that as soon as those two guys came off, it seems that we had no more ideas on how to attack. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that was a little bit of a worrying sign for me.
I mean, this sums up tonight's game. We're talking about Europa League, and we're talking about the weather in the chat at the moment. I think that sums up tonight's game. Helio says here, I don't understand the 3 subs just after first half. Why didn't Curtis Jones start the match? The tactics in this match from Klopp didn't impress me. Klopp does this sometimes, from time to time, where he does get games wrong, where he tactically gets games wrong, and subs makes no sense. Curtis Jones starting the match, I get that, because Curtis Jones obviously is going to be banned for the Premier League game, so it makes him sense to start these matches, keep him fresh and keep him going. But I just think Klopp were trying something different today, and it didn't work, but it's enough to get us over the line against the teams like this, which is okay. I don't mind it, but let's start with it. Let's start with the negatives first. Is there anyone that didn't really pick up trees tonight, that should have picked up trees tonight?
Endo, I think he could have performed a little bit much better than he did. Gravenberch, again, he had a solid game, but it wasn't anything to amaze and be like, wow, I was still finding myself.
I thought Gravenberch had a decent game tonight.
He had a decent game.
Incredible, but I think he was one of the best players on pitch.
Yeah, no, he had a decent game, but I think what I keep finding with him is like there was times where the defense will have the ball and just keep passing. I'm thinking, why don't you drop back and try and receive the ball and run with it or create something? There was so many times where you can just see him on literally at the top of the pitch. He wasn't dropping back too many times to kind of receive the ball. And I feel like for me personally, I just want to see him really take control of the game. Just grab him by the scruff of his neck and just really run with it. Like we see a Szoboszlai do. And I feel like he can do it. I just don't know what it is. Maybe he's match fitness. Maybe, he still needs to adapt to the team and adapt to the speed of the game and how we play. Maybe it's that. But for me, I feel like there's so much more that he can, provide for us and give to us, that I feel like he's just playing right now. He's playing like at 50%, 50, 60%. And we haven't seen that 80, 90% of what he can fully really do in this team. So that's the only thing I'm really watching for when it comes to him.
Gravenberch, I can excuse Gravenberch tonight just because of who he's played alongside. He's played alongside Elliott, who again, for me, is not a midfielder. He's never been a proper centre midfielder. He's a number 10. And Endo, I just don't think Endo's good enough. I said it in the chat earlier. I just don't think he's good enough. He's not the level needed. He's decent for like a James Milner role, if that. I think someone compared to Lucas Leiva the other day early, what I saw. But it's annoying. It's annoying that we'll be like, Endo's our only proper 6. And I keep going back to the 6 situation and not getting the 6 in. It's massive, absolutely massive. And again, Elliot said that Endo's there just to attract sponsors to sell shirts in Asia. that could be the reason. That could be the reason. He's a
100%.
decent human being. He's a decent person. Probably decent to have around the squad, but it's just not good enough. And people say, well, give him time to adjust to the league. This is fucking Europa League. This is Union St. Galway. A team that's not even been in the Europa League themselves. They've only just become good in the Belgian league, by the way. They've only just come up in the last couple of seasons in the Belgian league. So if he ain't going to play good in these sort of games, what are we expecting from the league games if we do have to rely on him in the league games? Because we're going to have to rely on him at some point, because we can't keep, especially when it gets later on in the season, when the fixture congestion comes around, we'll have to rely on him. And it's just not up to speed. It's not up to, I won't say ability, but I think he's just not up to it for me. He's not up to it. And I like him in the squad, I like having him around, but if we had a proper number 6 in front of him, then I'd be content. I'd be content. I won't be delighted. I still think we need to have 2 people in front of him, but I'd be content, and that's, for me, it's not good enough. It's not good enough from the club to get someone like that in and expect him to do that. But Tsimikas is another player that I just don't think, I said it earlier, people haven't been taking the chances, and Tsimikas is another one that aren't taking chances. I think he's just trying too hard, Tsimikas, going forward. I think he won't get into forward positions. He's starting to think about the crosses now. He's starting to shoot a lot, which I've noticed. I know Robertson shoots a lot recently, but I don't know if that's the inverted left-back role that they're taking up, where they get them positions to shoot, but I think he's shooting quite a lot, and sometimes you don't need to shoot. Sometimes there's better options. But what do you think about Endo and Tsimikas?
Yeah, I think with Tsimikas, I can kind of give him a pass because he's not like he's coming off the bench in Premier League games where he can replace Robertson for a couple of minutes and kind of get that, consistency going. He always has to wait for the Europa League to come along or the FA Cup or whatever. So for him, it was almost like a stop-start. It's not constant where he gets a little bit of minutes to kind of continue that vein of form that he would want to continue kind of bring into the Europa League. So that is the kind of excuse that I can give to Tsimikas when it comes to that. But when you do watch him, I feel like there's certain times where he holds on to the ball for too long. He tries to do too much. He tries to skill up too many people and try to run at too many people. I'm just like, Tsimikas, there's a guy right there. Just keep it simple. Keep the ball moving, Exactly. So that's where I feel like maybe that's probably why Klopp doesn't trust him when it comes to the Premier League. I might be wrong, but that's probably one of the reasons why, because I feel like if we're in a tight game and let's say Robertson is tired and you want to bring Tsimikas on, but because he holds on to the ball for too long, maybe because he tries to do too much, he can cost us a goal. He can cost us, he can commit a foul where the opposition has a dangerous cross that can give them a chance to get back into the game. So that is probably something that Klopp is seeing, that he's like, I don't know if I can keep bringing this guy on for Robertson, even though he wants to give Robertson a rest and wants to take him off for the last 5-10 minutes to give him a rest. But because he's seen these little things with these little traits from Tsimikas, he's probably feeling, nah, it's better just keep Robertson on the pitch and just ride out the whole game. So, yeah, that's what it is for me when it comes to him. His crossing is really, really good. Really, really good. Like he has a wonderful left foot on him. But for me, again, it's just, I feel like he can step up a little bit more. He can definitely, improve.
2 seasons ago, he was pushing Robertson for that starting spot. I know Robertson dropped off a bit, but he kept him on his toes. He played well when he first came in. And I said, I think he could take over Robertson because Robertson was playing at a level that, was terrible level for 2 years. But Robinson seems to find his form back, which is good because Costas hasn't. He's lost his form. So we're not having both pushing each other at the moment, which we really need sometimes when you're going for the title. Someone asked 2-0 in chat last night. Can't remember who. 2-0 probably is like it's normal scoreline, isn't it? It's a 2-0 victory. It's a boring scoreline, but it's a scoreline. It's a winning scoreline. It's a result. And we move on to the next game, which is Toulouse. I think. Are we home to Toulouse or do we travel?
I think we're away.
We're to Toulouse. So I think they were. I don't know what they did. I think they were 1-0 up. I think they won 1-0, didn't they, against Last Lane? So there was 1-0 up. I didn't really keep.
I wasn't really keeping score when it comes to.
I know they went 1-0 up to lose. But next up in terms of games is Brighton on Sunday. They drew 2-2 tonight. 2-0 down they were. Brighton were 2-0 down, Fansel 2-0 down, and somehow grabbed the 2-2 draw. But they got battered by Villa last week. I didn't see that. I saw Villa beating them, but I didn't see that scoreline coming. Can we get...
Yeah.
We need that 3 points now against Brighton, don't we? We need to go out and beat Brighton because that Tottenham game has killed us in terms of the unbeaten run's gone. We could have been top of the league if we won that game. We can't drop more points now against Brighton.
No. That is... And I think that is what... a lot of Liverpool fans are feeling and why they were so frustrated when it came to that Tottenham game, because they knew even a draw in the Tottenham game would have been good for us. And even I think we were good enough in that first 20-25 minutes that we could have won that game, honestly. Spurs didn't have that many opportunities. They had, I think, 1 shot on target and we had 6 at the time. So we were literally, we had that game in our hands. I think if we still had 11 men on that pitch, we'd have won that game. Maybe a 2-1 win, maybe a 3-1 win, because I think that we had enough to trouble that defense. But obviously, we know what happened. We're not going to go into it. I'm sure everybody in this channel has probably heard enough about that. So yeah,
I'd say I want to talk about it, but I literally recorded a podcast earlier, so I've literally been going on about it for a long time.
Yeah.
But we do know what we feel about that.
Exactly. So for me, this game is vital. I think it's either 3 points or nothing. I don't even think a draw will be suffice because I think if we win this game, and Man City is playing Arsenal this week as well, so one of them is going to drop points.
Yeah.
One of them, and I think we need to capitalize in this particular moment because we're only 2 points away from Man City. We don't want it to be 5 points. You know what I mean? At this point ahead, especially
if it's 5 points international break, then that's no matter how good we started, that's not good. That's not good.
No.
5 points at the international break. Helios said here the DM was tricky one at Liverpool, saying it that not to defend Endo, but Fabinho needed time to get a grip. The thing is, Helios, Fabinho had time and potential to be at Fabinho's level, if that makes sense. When Fabinho was prime, he had that potential to be there. Endo's not got that potential. Endo's what, 31 now? 30, is it 31?
Yeah, I think he's 30. I think he's 30. I don't know if he's 31 yet. Yeah.
But yeah, he's in his twilight days now. He's not got potential to be that level. So no matter how much time we're going to give him, I don't think he's going to improve by much. That's not good. Like I said, I like him in the squad. Decent player, but it's just not the level. And I knew it wasn't the level when it came in. I'm confused in a game where our team played the level to our comp. People are acting like Endo was the odd man out in Fabs. Yeah, he was the odd man out. He wasn't the odd man out in terms of, I think Albion played poor across the park, rather than like Quansah, Konate, and maybe Gravenberch push.
Yeah.
But Endo's one of the players like Tsimikas, like Elliott, that need to play these games and prove that they're ready to play for Liverpool Football Club. So these are the ones that aren't getting the games on the weekend. These aren't getting the games in the Premier League. So for me, they need to push harder in these games. People say, "Oh, Endo's not at his level," but that's Europa League. Endo should be playing out with skin against Europa League. If he thinks he can come to the Premier League and play for Liverpool, then he needs to play Europa League teams at least decently to play for a team like Liverpool and push for the starting spots. So I'm not picking Endo out as such. Tsimikas played a poor game as well, and I think everyone did. I don't think Teller played a good game. I don't think Diaz had moments. He had moments, especially towards the end, where he had that chance, that good shot towards the end. Other than that, it mainly Konate and Quansah. Really, that stood out for me in terms of the whole match. But pretty sure that McAllister will be back at 6 against Brighton. It's almost the Brighton way using resources in the best way possible. Well, Elliot, there you go. We're having to play players out of position in number 6. We're having to use Endo, who's not at the level we need. This is what happens when FSG don't back Klopp. This is what happens. We're having to do this. Klopp's having to compromise, is the word. As Jay Moose said here, please hit the likes and subscribe, of course. Of course, it's a late night tonight because of the match finishing late itself. But we won the game. We won the game, and that's all that matters. We won with 6 points out of 6 for the Europa League. Endo played well. It's time to settle. But the thing is, Sahil, I agree with you. I think it did play the bad. I still think he's taking his chances. And the time to settle thing, again, it's his age. How long does he need? It's the Europa League, this is. Take the win. I thought New Ones did well. Let's go to the centre back pairing in harmony. Quansah and Konate, both young lads, but they look good, don't they?
Look very good. I'm very gassed about Quansah. Honestly, I'm so excited about this kid. I think he has a bright future on him. He's learning from one of the best, that Liverpool's ever had in that centre back in Virgil van Dijk. He's learning from a rising star of Konate, and he's learning from Joe Matip and how to run with the ball from defense into attack. So he has a great mixture of people that he can learn from, and you can kind of start seeing these little traits coming out in his game. There was even one instance when it was 2v1, and he literally just stood off and just watched the man that was in behind him.
Van Dijk would, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't. If he pressed the other guy, he would have played. That ball would have been on for the other for the player that was behind him, and we could have given him a chance to score. But he just kept his composure, watched the ball, and in the final minutes, he just put his leg in to clear the ball. And I just saw that. I was like, that's Van Dijk. That is something that Van Dijk would be, be doing. So you can see it. And then when he drives with the ball as well, you can see that Joe Matip influence in that kind of manner. And then when that last minute ditch tackle where he slides in or he puts a foot in, that's like Konate. You know what I mean? So he has the trait of all these three players, Yeah. So it's really good to see. I'm so happy about his development, and I'm really happy to see the way Klopp is using him. He's not burning him out. He's not playing him every single game. Some games where he'll play, make him sit and just watch. And then in the Europa League, that's his moment to shine and to kind of use what he's learned from the training ground, from what he's watching from film, what he's watching when he sees these guys playing in the Premier League, and just kind of test it out in the Europa League. And he's starting to really show us that we could be saving ourselves a lot of money in the future having to buy another centre back if he continues his vein of form. And Konate, what can you say about Konate? I think playing against along Quansah is kind of giving that sense of responsibility now. I got to look after this young kid. I got to make sure
he's only young himself as well. He's only young himself.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that is kind of raising his game, is making him much more mature, much more composed. Because when he plays with Van Dijk, he knows he's got Van Dijk there, so he can be kind of rash. He can be kind of hasty to make a challenge. But when he's playing with Quansah, you can see he's being much more calculated. And I think that's good for his development. I think that's something that I feel like Klopp is starting to realize that, Konate needs this, because there's certain parts of his game where he's a bit too rash. He tries to go into a tackle when he doesn't really need to. He's a bit too aggressive in certain parts where he doesn't need to. So playing with Quansah, I think that's starting to calm him down. He's starting to improve his game even more. And so it's really good to see. We have a great pairing in between with those two. And the future's looking bright in the centre back for us right now.
Liverpool 12th man here, Damon. Then compare McAllister and Endo's performance in this game since they both played at 6 today. But McAllister again poor at 6, but he's not a 6. What he expected, he's not a 6. He's not a 6. He's playing there because we're having to play there. We're putting round pegs in square holes or square pegs in round holes, whichever you want to go. We're putting the wrong players in the wrong position because we're having to compromise. I said this was going to happen. This is why we needed a DM, but Klopp didn't want a DM apparently, even though he's contacted Caicedo, even though he's contacted Lavia, even though he's trying to get Andre in, but apparently trust Klopp. But Klopp wanted a DM, so I do trust Klopp more than most fans. Can I say for the real best centre back in the world right now? It could be up there. You know what? Him and Saliba. France are fucking lucky they've got him and Saliba, because for me they're the two best young centre backs in the world. Regarding Quansah, though, when you said about the standing offset thing, that's the difference between Van Dijk, though. I don't think that Van Dijk sometimes puts his body on the line. Even when he in his prime, he never really put his body on the line where Quansah does, where them last-ditch tackles, he didn't. I think Van Dijk liked to look after Van Dijk, and if he put a tackle in and it didn't look good, I think he didn't want to look stupid. I always thought that Van Dijk. I always thought Van Dijk looked after himself first and made sure he wasn't at fault for a goal. He would always back off and say, someone else go and tackle him. I'll back off up here. I don't want to look like I'm an idiot. But I'm glad that he does have that Van Dijk stature in him where he does back off. Sometimes you don't need to go into tackles. If you go into tackles all the time, you're going to get caught out, especially against some of the brilliant players in the world who've got quick feet and and mine's like an absolute genius. So Konate could be in the Euro final next year. Well, he's usually in the finals these days. Obviously, he was in the World Cup final against Alexis McAllister and lost. We saw that the other day when he. I'm telling you right now, Endo is quality. Our fourth choice DM. It's quality, but who for? Helior. Is he a Liverpool quality? That's the thing. We're Liverpool Football Club. He might be quality at Stuttgart. I think he'd be okay for. Fourth choice DM when he's the only one that can play DM properly tells you everything you need to know. You just said his quality there. Said his fourth choice DM, but it's the only proper DM we have. So that tells you everything we need to know. His fourth choice. So that's some real movement in the goal post of the elevation. Endo is damned if he does. If he doesn't, even though Klopp. I don't think anyone has a problem with Endo signing. I think Endo being our only 6 is the problem. That's the problem, and I'm to rely on him being the 6 is the problem. Going on from tonight's game. Well, in fact, before we do actually, Harmony, man of the match. Yeah. Is it Quansah? Or is anyone else?
Yeah, it's Quansah. There's no one else.
I think that you know what? That's 3 man of the matches for me out of 3 for him.
Yeah, I think so.
One he didn't start, and one he started.
Yeah.
And he's been unbelievable in each one. So that says a lot about his game and a lot about his character. Even though he's playing, lesser teams, but he's still the age he is and the play he's taken over in Van Dijk. It's a big shoes to step in. No matter whether it's Europa League or not, it's big shoes to step in, and he's stepping up quite well, isn't he?
And for me, I think that the game that kind of made me realize that he's going to be ready very, very soon. It was that Wolves game. He was absolutely excellent in that Wolves game, and I think he obviously he came off with a muscle injury that he felt, so a bit of a cramp. So I think the fast pace, he's not quite used to the fast pace of the Premier League just yet. Obviously he's gonna and he still needs to adapt to and grow into his own body because he's still young. He's only 18, So so that Wolves game, exactly. That Wolves game kind of stood out to me a lot because his performance, his composure on the ball, off the ball, his spatial awareness, knowing who's around him, and that in that Wolves game kind of showed a lot. Even though he wasn't playing against a prolific striker, but it was still a good opposition that caused us a lot of trouble, and he got us out of a lot of the problems that we were having in defense. So so that's something that stuck out with me. And obviously in the Europa League, I think is a great level for him. Instead of him having to play for the under-21s or whatever, against lesser opposition, he's playing men's football. He's playing against much better players, quicker players, that have more quality about them. And he's learning his game, more and more experience. And I think I think probably later on during the season, we'll start seeing him against lesser teams that he'll probably start, like the Lutons, the Sheffields. We'll probably see him start. And I think that'll be good for him, his development again, to kind of get used to the pace of the Premier League and how they play and everything. So I think the future's really, like I said, the future's bright for this kid. The sky's the limit. He can be one of the best defenders that we've ever had, and he can be world class at the age of 20, 21. I don't see how that can't be possible for the potential that I'm seeing from him personally. But obviously, it's just how do you bring him into the team and how do you embed him into the team, and that's what's really important.
I get this trouble later. I do think Andre coming in January would be a big signing. It'd be a game changer in terms of the title, and I've always said that. But we shouldn't be doing business late all the time. We did it with Diaz. We could have signed Diaz in the summer. We didn't. If we did, I think we'd have won the quad that season. That's how big of a signing that was. He changed the way we played that season. We weren't even on the quad run. We weren't even looking like near. No. It didn't look like we were going to be in a Premier League title race at that point before Diaz came in. And it changed the way we was. And we pushed on and everyone improved around him as well. I think Mane improved when he went up front as well because he was poor at the left wing. So it's just getting the business done again late, and it's saving money all the time in the summer, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I don't want to be out of the title race again by January and expect an Andre to come in and change it. We shouldn't have to change it. We should be in the title race and then just being that little extra push it on for the title. That's how it should be. Going on.
Sorry.
Go on, mate.
Sorry to cut you off. I want to talk about Jota a little bit. What do you think about Jota right now in terms of his vein of form and how he's playing?
He's been crap, but he gets goals.
Exactly.
He's been crap, but he gets goals. He's been crap, but that's why he needs to be off the bench. And I've always thought he's not a striker. I've always thought he's not a central striker. He's more of a left winger, because as a central striker, he doesn't get in positions where he does from the left wing for me.
Yeah.
Left wing, he likes to come in late in the box, and he's always the free man, and he's good in the air. But striker doesn't suit him. I think it suits Gakpo more or Nunes more. And get off the bench when we need a goal, perfect to bring on. Perfect to bring on. But the performance as a whole, he's been crap. He's been crap all season. I'm being perfectly honest. He's been absolutely crap all season. Just gets the goals. But that's what he's paid for. And we need someone like him.
No, that's what I was thinking as well, because I was watching that game and I was thinking, I haven't seen him do anything this whole entire game. And I know Drew's probably watching this, he's hating me right now because he loves Jota off, but I've just been watching him thinking, what's going on with him? This guy was electric.
Does he? No.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like the same old Jota that we saw 2 seasons ago when he was literally destroying teams, scoring goals. But like you said, somehow he just finds himself in a position where he scores, and then you just have to look at him and like, oh, okay, fair enough. You can't argue with that because he gets the goals. That's the problem when it comes to Jota. You just can't argue because he gives you the goals when you need it.
I bet it's one of them ones, isn't it? Say you play. I don't know if you play Football Manager, but when you play Football Manager, you're like, oh, I have to bring him off. I have to bring him off. Back to bring him off and fucking scores the goals. Like I can't remember that.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's what happens. I bet Klopp's so close to bringing him off, right? And he just somehow pops up with a goal. It's like, where's that come from?
Exactly.
But that's what he does, and that's why he's so good. What he does, and that's why he's such an important player. He's going to be, he's a title-winning player because you need goals, win your games, and without players like Jota, you're not going to win games. You're not going to win so many games. I still think we should try and get Lavia on alone. I still think there's a chance there of getting Lavia. I do think there's still a chance there of getting Lavia, but
hell no. He chose to go to Chelsea. He could sit on that bench.
I'm not blaming Lavia as such.
No.
Mate.
I don't know. No, I'm sorry. It's never us messing him around. His agent got in his head and got in his ear, and him like a mug. He listened to his agent and he went there. He hasn't played a game, and before he even started playing the game, he got injured. Now he has to work himself back into the team again. He's not going to start ahead of Caicedo. I just feel like he made a wrong move personally. I don't see what Chelsea, because they don't have a creative player. Because Enzo, he's an 8. He's not a 10. You know what I mean? So you can't play, and so I don't know. I feel like he just kind of ruined his career in terms of making that Chelsea move. And anyhow we go back in for him, I think he'll be stupid. He'll just be stupid.
But do you think we can get him for a cheaper price?
No. Especially not with Chelsea. No, especially not with Chelsea. Especially because they gave him a big ass contract. I'm sure he's a ridiculous wage right now. And Chelsea will try to find a way to make some sort of money back. So you're probably going to have to pay 30 to 40 million for him. He
has to drop his wage.
Exactly. So, yeah, nah.
We've already seen like Caicedo's agent come out today and say like we were in talks with him in January, but we stopped it. We stopped it like I think it was like May time. And then we all came in for him late, which is too late. The deal had been agreed with Chelsea there, and I think he made the wrong decision as well. Caicedo going for there, but again, it's his agent. I actually messaged his agent. He actually messaged back saying gracias. I told him about Liverpool and saying that. But I said to him, I messaged him after that. I said, look, you've made a mistake, mate. You've honestly made a mistake. Yeah, you made a mistake. You ruined a player's career. That's what I said to him. I told him straight. I said, you ruined a player's career by choosing Chelsea instead of Liverpool. I said, what you could have done at Liverpool was different gravy. Chelsea, big club, but Liverpool, bigger club.
Yeah, and I think it was more. I think if he came to Liverpool, the club would have done to him what he did with Fabinho. He would have slowly brought him in. But with Chelsea, he goes straight in there because they don't have a DM. They don't have someone that can, step into that position, into that role. And I think that is something that kind of made the situation worse because now he's under pressure because his performance has not been great. He's not been performing well. He cost them a goal in his first game. You know what I'm saying? So
and he's not.
That
shit.
Is where
he's not shit. He hadn't lost his talent overnight.
Exactly. No, he hasn't.
So
No, he hasn't. It's just the team.
It's again, like Moose said here, we've got the vibes, but yeah, it's a brilliant place to play for at the moment, Liverpool. The players are loving it. You got best manager in the world in Jurgen Klopp, pound for pound. For me, apart from money, there's no reason to not choose Liverpool ever. And you know, unless you like choosing Barcelona or Real Madrid, that's the only ones. And I won't say Man United because they're out of the picture now. They're in a relegation battle with Everton. So
Yeah, players have been choosing Liverpool over Man United for the last couple of seasons. So yeah, that's no worry.
And it all makes sense now. If you're still holding out on Levy being a red, I've not even said I'm holding out on Levy being a red. I want Andre in January. Decided to take our 6. But if you don't need a 6 to Liverpool 12 man, if you don't need a proper 6, I want you to. I've always said this. You give me a Premier League winning team without a proper 6, and then I'll back you. I'll back your comment. Exactly. So we can probably get him cheap. So if it's I get that. I still think we can get him cheaper if we did get him, but made your bed, lied in it. Comment is probably the one I can think of right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be it then tonight. Then how many? It's short one tonight because obviously match reaction. It's late. It's darker. It's dark here.
Exactly.
It's windy outside. You can hear the wind rattling my conservatory roof right now. Thank you for coming on, mate. And again, we said that tonight. A win's a win. Poor performance again, but it needs to improve, doesn't it? We've got Brighton this week, and if you don't play well against Brighton, you'll find out we can't lose 2 games in a row because the title could be over already. And the international break is coming up, so you know it's another game where we're going to sleep again because I've been sleeping tonight through tonight's game. It's going to be international break. England are on. Like, who watches them? And Henson Hoofball is back, back on our screens. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming on, and thank you everyone for joining in and for commenting. If you are new, subscribe to the channel, get your notification bells on. We're live every single night. Podcast is out tomorrow that me and Vigo recorded earlier on today with a special guest. And yes, and also like this video, like every video you can. It helps us out a lot, and we want to be here as much as we can for you guys. Thank you everyone for tonight, and thank you for Liverpool for winning another game. 6 points out of 6. On to the final of Europa League against Man United. Here we go. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and good night.